Tom. Thanks so much for taking the time to meet with us today. How's your day been going so far?
It's been going alright. Pretty busy with uni, exams and everything coming up, so been pretty full on, yeah.
Are they next week or when you're all
Yeah, a couple of weeks coming up, yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
It's a crazy time.
Busy.
Well, especially during this week, thanks so much for carving out some time to meet with us. So before we get started, we just want to introduce ourselves so that you have a sense of who you're talking to. So my name is Lindsay, as you know, and I work with the Restorative Justice Office here at Vic. And I'm actually not from New Zealand, as you can probably tell. I'm from Colorado. I moved here in January and I'm doing a PhD at the moment and just really loving living in New Zealand. It's been really great.
And I'm Haley. You can tell I'm also from the US, but I grew up in Virginia and then moved to Colorado before moving here a couple of years ago. Came over to do some research and decided to stay. And for obvious reasons, it's just wonderful. So I've stuck around. Yeah. How about you? Have you been living in Wellington long?
No, I've only just moved down for university, so first year. So really enjoying living in Wellington. It's a really cool place, yeah.
Cool. Where are you from originally?
From Cambridge up in the Waikato.
Oh, great.
Yeah, a bit different living in a big city now, so it's
I'll
loving
bet.
it. Yeah,
It's exciting.
real exciting, yeah.
Nice.
Great. Well, thanks again for taking the time to meet with us. The purpose of the meeting today is to talk a little bit about the conference meeting that's happening next week and to go through an overview of that process and answer any questions or concerns you have. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. We'll also be asking you the questions that you can expect us to ask you at the conference process so that you feel really comfortable with those questions. So the purpose of restorative justice broadly is to talk about what happened, who was affected, and what can be done to repair the harms and make things right. And we use that word harms to talk about how people were affected, including you. And there's just a few ground rules that we have throughout this process, so today and during the meeting next week, that ensure that everyone communicates with each other respectfully. And those are that everything said is kept confidential among the people there so that everyone feels like they have space to say what needs to be said. And then just to speak and listen with respect. And then there will also be an option to add another ground rule if you feel like there's a ground rule you'd like to add.
Cool.
So with that, I think we'll just jump right in if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
So if you could tell us the story of what happened just right from the beginning through today.
Okay. Well, it sort of started, I was skating home from class, fell off my skateboard, broke my laptop. Didn't really want to tell my parents or anything like that, so I sort of just hid it from them for a couple of weeks. I was coming back from class one day and seeing that Sarah left her room, was just walking past, seeing her laptop sitting there and just picked it up and took it back to my room.
Thanks for sharing that story with us. I'm going to just ask a few follow-up questions to help us understand more. So you said you kind of were walking past your room, saw that it was there. Could you tell us a little bit more about what was going through your head at the time?
I didn't really plan or anything like that, just sort of the thought popped up into my head, so I just went and grabbed it and didn't really think much of it at the time.
Okay. How about afterwards, when you got back to your room?
I felt pretty guilty afterwards, but I felt I'd already done it, so there wasn't really too much I could do, and the likes of giving it back is a reasonably embarrassing sort of thing. So I just kept it hidden for a couple of weeks, and then started using it, doing more of my assignments and everything on it. So.
And what happened after that?
One of the RAs came into my room because they were obviously looking for it and seeing that it still had the same sticker on it that was on it when Sarah had it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was that like when the RA came in and saw the laptop?
It was pretty embarrassing,
Okay.
actually getting caught. I didn't really think about getting caught when I did it, so yeah.
Yeah. So how have things been for you since that interaction with the RA?
It's been pretty tough, like the RAs and everyone who lives in the in the boarding facilities don't really, I feel like they see me a little bit differently. I don't really stand out to be someone who'd steal something, and now that that's hanging over me, it's a bit different around the place.
So it sounds like you're worried about how people are perceiving you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't want to be known to be a thief.
Yeah. So who would you say has been affected by this?
Definitely Sarah, I'd say.
Yeah.
Obviously because it's her laptop, so she would have been pretty stressed out when it went missing. Probably a lot of the people in the dorms as well, just because they'd just be worried about their stuff getting taken too.
So that concern about something similar to happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. Is there anyone else you can think of that's been affected?
I suppose all the RAs as well, because they would have to spend some time to look for them and everything like that. Yeah.
So how about you? I mean, it sounds like you've definitely been affected by people's perception of you. What are the other ways that you've been affected by this?
Yeah, mainly just the way people perceive me. That was probably the biggest thing, and just getting caught. Yeah. And I don't know. I felt pretty guilty once I did it, because I didn't really plan on doing it. It's not something I've done before. Just sort of seen it as an opportunity, took it, and straight away just sort of regret it. But didn't want to give it back for fear of embarrassment sort of.
So it felt kind of out of character for you.
Yeah, a little bit out of character, but yeah, I think at the time I would have rather taken it than have to tell my parents about needing a new laptop because I broke it.
Have you been able to talk with your parents about this at all?
No, not really. I haven't told them at all. Yeah.
Okay. So you're still without a laptop at this point? Then?
Yeah, still. So yeah, it's been pretty hard.
Yeah, I can imagine with
studying
exams.
with no laptops, yeah.
That would be hard. Is there anything else you feel like we need to know about what happened to help us understand?
No, that pretty much covers it all.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions here?
I can't think of anything. You've told that story really clearly, so thanks. I think I get it.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing all that with us. So next we're going to kind of shift gears to talk about what needs to happen next. So what do you feel like, we've heard about some of the ways that people have been affected. What do you feel like needs to happen now to repair those harms and make things right?
I don't know, it's a pretty hard question. Obviously I should really apologise to Sarah in person and talk to her about it, and yeah, hopefully she's understanding and yeah.
So you're feeling like you'd want to make an apology?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the right thing to do, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great idea and a great thing to offer. What about, you mentioned the RAs and other people in the hall also being affected. Do you have ideas of things that could happen to repair some of those harms?
It's pretty tough. Yeah, I don't really know what you'd want to do to be able to repair those, because there's a few people who live in the area who's probably been affected and everything. So yeah, I'm not too sure what to do there.
And that's fine. We like to ask this question today so that you have some time to think about it.
Yeah, okay.
And then also we'll be brainstorming all together as a group. Haley and I won't be suggesting ideas at the conference, but the other group members the other people in the circle will be coming with some ideas. So a lot of that will come out next week.
Okay, cool.
And so ultimately we'll come to an agreement all together on what you'll do next to repair those harms. So far we've been talking about just this one specific incident, but like you said, we know that this isn't who you are as a full person. It's something maybe out of character for you. And so we want to take some time at this point to kind of learn about you as a whole person and to discover some of your strengths and things that you could do to repair the harm with those strengths. So Haley is going to ask you some questions about yourself.
I guess I'm just curious, what do you do in your free time? I clearly you like to skateboard.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, Wellington's pretty good for it, so.
Yeah. Have you been skating for a long time?
Yeah, since I was pretty young, so.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So do you like to go on long rides or pretty much in the park or?
There's a couple guys in the hostel that do a bit of skating, so yeah, we go around to a few places and just
Oh, cool.
get around the city.
Cool. What else do you get into?
With graphic design, I'm pretty good at art and drawing and everything, so I like to do that as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your favorite kind? Like, what if like you had a day to do some art? What would you pick?
I don't know. There's heaps of just like sketching. That's probably the main thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. And so that's what got you into graphic design, is this creative side?
Yeah, definitely. Creative side and just like thinking a little bit outside of the box and
Yeah, cool. Oh, that's neat. So you came down pretty recently, you said, since you're first year here in Wellington. Do you have brothers and sisters that you left up north?
Yeah, 2 older sisters.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You're pretty close with them?
Yeah, pretty close with one of them, not so much the other one.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's pretty cool that it sounds like you've gotten down here and been able to make a good group of friends and found some cool things to do in the area.
It's a nice city, so it makes it pretty easy.
Nice. Is there anything that you would like for everyone else at the conference to know about you?
Probably just not going in thinking that I'm like that it's something that I've done before. Like I'm not. I don't know. It was just so out of character for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that.
So I don't want them going in there perceiving that I'm, a bad guy already.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We share that. We don't want anybody to think you're a bad guy either.
Cool.
Oh, well, thanks. It's really nice to get to know you a little bit better.
Thanks.
Great. So Haley is going to have the job of sharing some of these things that you do in your free time with the circle, so that hopefully we can have some of the agreement ideas come out of those strengths. So that was great to hear some of that about you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, hopefully it helps.
Definitely. So just to give you an overview of what to expect next week, you'll show up and we'll have chairs in a circle, and the people who will be in the conference will be Sarah, the RA, the hall manager, you, and then Haley and myself, and we'll all be seated in a circle. We'll start with introductions, so we'll ask you to say your name and what your hope for the conference is, and everyone will do that.
Okay.
And then after that, we'll have each person talk about what happened and how he or she was affected. So we'll start with you and have you tell the story just like you did today.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to Sarah and then the rest of the people in the circle.
Okay.
So we'll also be asking you at that point to repeat back one of the harms that you heard each person name. So as you're listening to each person's story, just be paying attention for one way that they were impacted so that you can repeat that back at the end. And that's just a way to show that you're listening and engaging and really absorbing what's being said. It helps, helps people to know.
Yeah, of course.
Great. So do you have any questions about the process at this point?
No, not really. It seems pretty straightforward and just getting everything out on the table and
Great. And if you do have any questions that come up over the next week, please feel free to give me a call. How are you feeling now compared to when we started the meeting?
I think I didn't really know what to expect coming into this, so it gives me a better idea of what's going on and what the process is, and hopefully it all works out and everyone comes on board.
Great.
Yeah.
So you're feeling pretty comfortable?
Yeah, definitely feeling a lot more comfortable now, yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. Great. So just as a reminder, we'll be meeting next Wednesday at 2 p.m. in Willis House, and it's in the tutorial room there.
Okay.
So we'll see you there right at 2 o'clock.
Cool, thanks very much.
Yeah.
Nice.
And like I said, call me if you have any questions before then, and thanks again for coming in to meet with us today.
Cool. No, that's sweet, thanks.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, it's nice to meet you
Yeah.
too. We'll see you
Great
next week.
talking.
Cool. Cheers.